Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is well. We'll get started in about 30 seconds or so. If you have any pairs you want, you're welcome to type it in there, and then we'll get started very soon. Good morning, Trusty Harry. Nice to see you. So let's get started now. I'm gonna do a quick run through all the positions that I'm in, and then we'll take it from there. So still in silver. I'm still in silver, and this kind of move from the market doesn't faze me too much. I'm used to this kind of move from the market, so I'm still holding my bias. I'm still holding my trade. I will move the stop loss to about 1 to 1 to secure some profit, and then we'll take it from there. So that means silver, and let's go through. I'm still in pound yen. Pound yen did a deeper pullback here, but I want to see if this structure will complete and continuation downwards to see what if will continue lower. Still in Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie is still in this kind of bigger consolidation. Happy to set the stop loss to break even and see if this continuation correction will finish and then take off afterwards. New trade I'm in today or yesterday is dollar Singapore dollar. Analysis. I like how we have kind of a reversal structure here after all this push down, and we have an impulse and we have a correction, and looking like we have another impulse breakout, so a correction after breakout that I enter, looking for that bullish move on the price. So those are the 4 trades that I'm in right now. So dollar Singapore dollar is a new one, but I still have Euro Aussie, silver, and pound yen that are still running. And we'll just see how this morning will go. Anything can happen, of course. So I'm happy to see development on these. Most of these are already in profit and break even, so I'm fine just kind of watching them and see what it will do from this point onwards. So let's go through the market now. We'll start with dollar index. Hey, nice to see you. Nice to see you all, you guys. Good, good. Kiwi Yen, I will go over that. So let's start now. So dollar index, I still hold that dollar index. I still hold the dollar strength potentially. We'll take a look at a few of these. So dollar index, I still see that the lower time frame we're still having continuation upwards. It's breaking the previous top. We're pushing up aggressively. Will we see more continuation here to push up the price? Preferably to see that. Seeing this on a higher time frame, we could be seeing this as a potential continuation from the top, and this is also something that we want to watch out for. So breaking the fall high is good, but are we going to continue onwards to get the strength from dollar, or are we going to reverse down and continue the overall dollar higher time frame bearish bias? So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that develops. But for now, at least what I see on the lower time frame, we're still pushing up. So I still like what I'm seeing here, and we'll go from there. So let's look at a few dollar pair. Let's look at a few dollar pair like Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar has already pushed down. If you guys are in the trade, I remember I mentioned that when you see this continuation correction, so impulse correction impulse, you gotta watch out for this area here, which is pretty much where the price is about to hit now, because this is that big head and shoulder pattern that I talked about in the last market update, and this area could be just stalling here to form continuation, but there's also always a small chance that this can just move down a little bit more correctively and may reverse from this point forward. So you gotta be careful in this area. If you're in the trade from here, you gotta be careful because this is the area to watch out for if we're going to get continuation or if we might get reversal from this and upwards. So, but personally, seeing how the momentum is, definitely favor the sell, of course, and then continuation down to the bottom of the higher time frame structure. So I like that. I like Aussie dollar. I also like Kiwi dollar probably the most. Kiwi dollar is clean. We talk about Kiwi dollar from the reversal from the top. We actually pushed down more than what we expected, right? We broke this previous low, which is great. We have that continuation correction here, pretty much what we kind of anticipate or forecasted of. Now that we break this kind of previous low, what do you expect from here? Well, it's the same as Aussie dollar, right? Because you want to make sure that this is going to be a continuation to the downside and not forming some sort of reversal instead of reversing. Remember, just because we break some trend lines or some phase line doesn't mean it's going to automatically continue, right? Because price can just break the previous low, but correctively, and then start seeing a reversal upwards. So you got to be careful of that, right? Wait for continuation if you're going to get in on the sell here. If you haven't gotten on the sell from this area, then wait for a bigger correction to push down the price more. Okay. It's the same across the dollar pairs. When I see, remember when we see that FOMC news, this was the volatility, and what does it do? Nothing, right? Forms a little bit of correction, trap a lot of traders here looking to buy, and then it just reversed down, continuation correction, and impulsive trades down to the downside. So same. So I still have very strong bias that the bearish move that we can just continue. Whether or not we form a continuation here or we break down a little bit for a bigger one, it's the same to me in my opinion. Looking for that bearish continuation correction to go. I will look at the oil. I will look at oil. I go in order, so bear with me. I go through currency, commodity, indices, and crypto. So I go in that order. If you don't mind, bear with me. I talk about oil pretty much last few streams already, right? I talk about oil from selling the top. So if you are seeing price breaking above this previous low, then watch out for a correction here. So let's talk about euro dollar. Euro dollar is looking very good. We see the continuation price to the downside, right? We push down, continuation, we push down again. So we know that we broke out of this kind of a higher time frame rising wedge. And there's some sort of structure here. You can try to classify the structure here, but either way, there is a consolidation phase here and price push down. So that's all good. If we zoom out a little bit here, I mentioned this in the last outlook that this is the area to watch out for. So if there's setup here, I do think it's valid to sell to the lows here and then to see if we're going to break below this area to continue, or this is an area to reverse. Ultimately, if we see how the market has been moving down, excuse me, we have been seeing this bearish move from the top, right? So there's nothing wrong with continuation here and continue the price to the low. Okay. Fine. Euro Kiwi doesn't show continuation pattern. Good morning. Good morning, Aussie Kiwi. Euro Kiwi doesn't show continuation pattern. Well, I still see this can be something here, right? This is still developing. This can be forming either a bigger correction like this or something like that. So I still think there's a lot of strong possibility for this move. So pound dollar, talk about pound dollar pretty much every stream as well. Remember, I talk about if we form a correction here, which is what I'm looking for. I'm definitely looking for a sell from this. So we already have the ascending channel from the top. We push down correction, we push down again. We're pretty much pushing out of this higher time frame correction now. So this is certainly a trade that I will be looking for if we get a completion of a correction here. And then we're looking for a sell down at least to this low here, where this is like kind of a previous kind of swing low or even this area, and ultimately is the end of the beginning of this correction here. But that's going to be a more long-term hold or long-term kind of. First is to see if we get a correction here, and pretty much just setting a stop loss order, right? That's what I always do. Whatever the stop loss will be. To the bottom would be a lot of profit, but let's see what will happen if we reach to this area first. But all the dollar, I think Kiwi dollar is good, pound dollar is good, and also very, very good, right? Dollar CAD is pushing up as we expect it to. descending channel here, and then we have a expanding structure here. We're pushing up now. Looks like there's more correction here. So if you're in the trade already, hold the trade to see if we're going to break out from here and continue upwards. Dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss, I think some of you guys are looking for dollar Swiss, and we broke out now. Just watch out for this area here. This can be a reason double top, and this can move down again before the up move, something like that. But it all depends on if we're going to form continuation here, which is what to continue upwards now. Because this correction to me is significant enough, at least for this move here. So impulsive move, corrective phrase, and we're continuation. And higher time frame wise, it does look like we could have that. We break this previous high and we form correction up around this area. This can just likely to continue upwards. Okay, last dollar pair is dollar Singapore dollar, which is the one I'm in. I briefly mentioned that in the beginning, but I'll talk about that again. We see how price has been moving down very much in the typical price action we would expect to see, right? Impulse, correction, impulse. And this last bit of the correction here, it is no longer a continuation correction that we're used to seeing. This is more as a neutral or more as a reversal correction. You can see that there is a few swing highs, few swing lows, and price at the end had this kind of a falling wedge reversal, impulse, correction, impulse. So we impulse out of this correction here, and it looks like there is like a pennant or triangle structure, triangle continuation, and we broke out again. And I was looking for a correction after breakout, as I always look for. So impulse out, I was looking for a correction, saw a correction here, just set an entry order here, and pretty much just stay the time consolidating. And I'm fine just waiting to see what will happen in this area. Is this going to form a bigger correction like this, something like that, and continue? Or if it's just going to consolidate it for a loss, and that's fine with me. Happy to take an entry here, happy to take a loss here if that's going to happen. Looking for the top here for a very healthy 6 to 1 or so, 6.5 to 1 or so. So I'm not worried about taking a loss here if that's going to happen. I like the overall move. We have reversal structure, impulse correction, looking for the next impulse. Remember, you always want to be impulsive phrase. We don't want to be in the consolidation phrase. Okay, so that's all the dollar pair I'm looking at for the remaining of the week. Okay, so these couple dollar, Kiwi dollar, pound dollar, and dollar CAD are probably the best. Euro, pound, I will go over that, Eddie. Good morning, good morning. Gold, I'll go over that as well. Aussie, Kiwi, I'll go over that as well. So any other question before I start going to other things? Let's talk about Aussie CAD. So Aussie CAD looks like we're still going down now, right? If you guys are still holding on you, I personally got out for about 4% after this move here, after this bigger correction. I wasn't sure if this correction here will start reversing. All we can do is to manage our risk, right? So when the FOMC meeting happened, I have both trade in, just lock in for profit together for about 4%. And what end up price is doing, still have impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse. So pretty much looking like we're just going to form another correction here, and then we're just going to continuation down to at least to the lows, if not to the beginning of correction, which is kind of what we'd be anticipating on, right? If you guys follow me on the previous streams, we've been talking about this move pretty much on the top. So I still think there is opportunities here. If you're still looking for sell setup, wait for some sort of correction here, wait for the price to push down lower. I will talk about gold after, guys. Just bear with me. I'm going in orders right now, so. So let's move on. Let's move on to a few more pairs. Aussie Swiss looks like we complete a correction here. We impulse out now, so if we can get continuation here, I would like to see that and then continue the price. Aussie Kiwi, sorry. Aussie Kiwi, we talked about this. I remember we talked about that when I saw a bigger kind of correction here after this impulsive move followed by a correction. We break out now, so preferably looking for a correction here to continue the buy. Okay, so pretty straightforward in my opinion. I will talk about this, excuse me. I will make a post this in the future, but I think this is pretty clean to have a large continuation. Okay, so naturally looking for continuation correction here to continue the price. Okay, and remember, when we see an impulsive phrase, and the larger and the deeper the correction goes, the next impulse will go, right? The stronger and the faster the next impulsive move will go. So if we see this as all this bearish move to the downside, we have a reversal wedge. Remember, we took a trade here. So impulse all, correction, and impulse all again, looking for another correction here to continuation. How do I determine the percentage of your profit? I risk 1% of my capital. Of course, that's based on your risk management or whatever, but I always calculate it with 1%, and then you can use the trading tool, right? You can calculate how big your 1% should be, right? And then you set your stop loss accordingly, etc. like that, okay? So let's talk about the yen pairs now. Kiwi Swiss, I'll talk about that, no problem. Let's talk about the yen pairs now. So yen pairs, if you guys recall, we took an entry here. Didn't hold through this correction, otherwise I would have hit like 10 to 1 or something. But that's not trading all the move in the market, but you're going to catch some of that, right? And now that what we're seeing, well, we're seeing like another correction forming here. So if we form another correction, we break this previous low, then expect this move to continue to the downside. We pretty much, I think most of you guys, I mean, a lot of you guys got in on some of these yen pairs. If you've been following me or watching my streams yen pairs, right? No question about it. So if you're still in these yen pairs, good. Looking to see what will happen in this correction here. It looks like we can form a head and shoulder here, and then we could just drop out, which is great. We're already looking like we can complete this correction here, so that's good. And looking for the downside from the price. Okay. And like I said, ultimately, if we break this previous low, we break it, we form another correction, expect price to go down all the way to this low here. Okay. Overall, Aussie Yen, Kiwi Yen, they've been dropping, right? So very clean price action, in my opinion. Clean kind of textbook almost for a M style pattern. Double top here. Ascending channel moving the price up. We have reversal impulse, correction, we sell through here. Looks like this is just another correction after we broke out of this higher time frame channel and massive bearish move to the downside. So same thing here, we're just waiting for a correction here, but the only difference here is because we're getting to pretty much this low here, you want to be a little bit more careful. We push down to this low and then we start having a reversal afterwards. So make sure if you're in the trade from the top here, or if you're in the trade from here, move your stop loss, adjust your stop loss accordingly, and wait to see if the price can just break this previous low, which is what we expect it to do. So Euro Yen, I think some of you going to Euro Yen. So the yen pairs are pretty much identical, right? If you're choosing some, you should be getting in some one of these. So we broke all of this kind of ascending channel, very similar like Aussie Yen. We impulse, correction, impulse down. Now we're just seeing if there's going to be another correction here to push the price lower. So it looks like exactly like Aussie Yen or pretty much every other yen pairs. Again, it's if the price can break out of this ascending, this kind of higher time frame rising wedge. It's pretty much similar like Euro Dollar. Euro Dollar was in the same kind of price action, and you can see that it's in this kind of long-term ascending channel corrective structure, as we always know. We break out of that ascending channel, so it impulse down. There's mini correction to follow, right? But ultimately is to wait for price to break out of the higher time frame channel, higher time frame wedge, and look for continuation to the downside. Pretty much most of the yen, like I said, they're pretty much looking identical, right? So you're just choosing which one you get from there. Good morning, good morning. So Euro Yen, yeah, just talk about Euro Yen here. So make sure you wait for a correction here to sell if that's in your plan. But for me, it's probably best to wait for the confirmation breakout and then confirmation correction here would be very ideal to continue the sell. Nice to watch me live, Rightwood. Nice to see you. So that's Euro Yen, Pound Yen. Talk about Pound Yen as well in the beginning. Similar price action across the board, right? Ascending channel, we have the first push down, We have the first push down followed by a correction. So ascending channel, double top, M style pattern, you're seeing the same thing across the board. Impulse down followed by a correction here. So it looks like we're pushing down now, and then we're having a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of another correction. So if this correction completes, which is what I want to see, and then look for the next sell down from here. Okay, and then look to see what price will do to this low here. Preferably, if we're just going to impulsively break below the low and then continue, then definitely looking for more continuation down to the low. Because once we start seeing this kind of price action, and if we zoom out on the higher time frame, we just broke this previous high, and then we broke the high in a kind of, and we have strong impulse down to the downside, right? So expect if there's more correction here to push the price lower. If that doesn't happen, then potentially we might get a reversal upward. So adjust your stop loss, adjust your management accordingly, right? We're not going to hold the trade all the way up to here, then you lose pretty much profit, right? Never sell at the highest and sell at the lowest, right? People say buy at the lowest, sell at the highest. It's not really possible, right? All we can do as price action trader is to identify setups, right? Identify setups here, we sell, exit here. We identify setup here, we sell, and then potentially exit the trade if it's going to reverse. Or if it's going to continue, make sure you set your target, and then they'll tag you out. Okay, so that's Pound Yen. Let's talk about Kiwi Yen. My friend, it's all with sound now. So Kiwi Yen, talk about Kiwi Yen pretty much from this top here. Remember, when we see the impulsive phrase, I always talk about when we look for a corrective phrase, we don't know how long or how deep or how wide this correction will go. Sometimes this is all the correction we need to start dropping, or sometimes we're going to see a bigger correction before we. Either way, it's being patient, right? You wait for a correction to finish, you're going to see the next impulsive phrase. So impulse, correction, impulse, exactly what we kind of talk about. And same idea here. On the higher time frame, we have that double top in this area. A higher time frame double top, this is kind of what I'm looking at here. And then lower time frame double top, time frame M style pattern, expanding structure. We have the impulse, correction, impulse out of that structure. So wait for a correction here is always ideal. Wait for a continuation correction to develop here, and look for the next sell down will be very ideal. Okay, even just to the lows here, I think there's enough 3-to-1 risk reward to the lows. So I do definitely like this kind of setup. Someone asked me about these chat. Yeah, I post them. I post the stream in my trading view on YouTube all the time. Okay, so if you don't see these, my trading view, I upload all the streams here. Okay, so all the streams you're watching, it's all gonna be here forever, and you can watch them on my YouTube, which is you can type in for Aries Trading. On my playlist, all my daily update stream is all here. Okay, all my daily update stream is all here, so you can watch them I always upstream watch all of them here. So moving on to Euro Aussie, talk about Euro Aussie as the trade I'm in. I'm also looking for pretty much continuation, right? We have this descending channel pushing the price down. We have impulse correction, impulse out of this descending channel, which is great, and looking for continuation correction here. Entry order, when price start forming this kind of price action, I just up in with the stop loss entry order. This is one of my entry I talk about in my ebook as a reversal entry. So if price popped to the upside now, and it looks like we're just forming like potential bigger correction here. So what I want to do is to wait and see what will happen in this area. I already set my stop loss to break even. So all I'm going to see is if this correction, this continuation correction will keep going. Maybe we'll form a structure like this and then go. So that's why I'm just happy to move my stop loss at break even. We'll just see what happens if this is going to continue or not. I still favor the bullish bias, of course. On the higher time frame, we have that double bottom in the area. Price moved down in the descending channel and very corrective price action. So we moved down correctively and we broke that double bottom area and then strong impulse correction, potentially out of that descending channel correction. So liking the continuation correction that I'm seeing here, expect this move to continue upwards. Okay. More of a medium long-term hold if the price give me that bullish breakout, bullish confirmation impulse from the price, then I would definitely hold for a longer term. Okay. This is Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie top left, you can always see my symbol. Top left, if you can see my mouse, this is where I always leave this. You can see the symbol the pair I'm talking about. Euro pound. Someone asked me about Euro pound. Personally, I'm really not seeing too much. This is why it's not on my watch list. I do see that higher time frame wise, this is likely to continue because this is just a strong impulse correction. We impulse out now. But this low area that the price is stalling is a little bit tricky. In my opinion, you can see this as two-way. You can see this that we're forming some sort of structure here, like an expanding structure. And expanding structure is a little bit tricky. Sometimes it can be reversal because we're at this low now. We broke the low, so this can be a reversal. Or we can just kind of consolidate here a little bit longer and then forming some sort of continuation correction. And we continue downside. So when the bias, you can really point out both different bias or both different potential. It's best to stay out of it. It's best to stay out because there's way other pairs out there that are so much easier or so much cleaner, and I would look for those instead. So talk about Euro Kiwi. I think most of you guys or most of us saw the Euro Kiwi bullish breakout. This is pretty much identical to Euro Aussie, if you guys remember. It's exactly the same. It's just Kiwi is a little bit, right? Euro Kiwi was a little bit faster to have the bullish movement. Sometimes the other one's going to follow. Okay, so make sure you understand that some they don't move necessarily the same time, but sometimes one will move first and the other one will move after, right? So it's all about patience here, waiting for the right setup. I think this was definitely the right setup, but I didn't catch this. I don't know if any of you guys catch this, but we talk about Euro Kiwi potentially having this strong bullish breakout, right? All the way when still forming this descending channel. And when we have this strong impulse up, I mentioned wait for some sort of correction, wait for breakout, and then another correction, right? This is pretty much what price did. We form a bigger consolidation, a bigger correction. If you guys recall, I took several trades here, all result in break even. And then I was still looking at this price, but just wasn't there to catch this entry here when I see this kind of reversal impulse, right? This is from the FOMC meeting once again. So FOMC meeting caused volatility to drop, form a reversal structure, impulse correction. Able to catch this, but looks like we might just be forming another correction here. So definitely I will be keeping an eye on this. I still see a lot of room to the top here. So whether or not this correction is enough to push the price out or we're going to see a bigger consolidation, I definitely like the continuation price from here. Okay. There is no sound. Actually, you muted. Yeah, I will talk about Nasdaq. I will talk about Nasdaq. I will talk about the indices. Just bear with me to go through all the currency. Just 2 more pairs, and then we'll jump to commodity. We'll jump to indices. Okay. So don't worry, guys. I'm gonna go over all of them. But I'm just going over every single market, so it takes a little bit of time. So let's move on. Let's move on to a couple other Kiwi pairs at the end. So let's talk about Kiwi CAD here. Some of you guys are definitely in Kiwi CAD from here. So if you're holding the trade, good job. We talk about this pretty much every stream that Kiwi CAD is just such a strong reversal bearish price action, right? We have this bigger, higher time frame ascending channel, and price pretty much just impulsively break all that, right? So if you're in the profit, good, right? Make sure you adjust your stop loss, you adjust your management, whatever it is. Because what I expect now is because we broke out of this higher time frame ascending channel, we break it out super impulsively. Naturally, price needs to correct how big or how long or how wide the correction will go, but it's best to be a little bit more patient to wait here and then wait for the next sell opportunity. Okay, I personally wasn't interested in the sell here. I want to wait for the price to break out, right? Break out, which is exactly what it does. So now I'll be waiting for a continuation correction. Ways of trading, of course, I think some of you guys asked me, should I be selling here? Well, if that fits your plan, you can sell. But if it, to me personally, because I've been trading for many years, sometimes these kind of setups, they may just hit the bottom and start reversing, and that's why I don't like to take my chances. To me, it's all about risk management and controlling your emotion, controlling your setups, right? Here is not wrong, but a lot of time price just, what if this higher time frame structure isn't complete? What if it just bounce here and then bounce back again, and then before it drop like this, and you're just gonna take a unnecessary loss here? Why not we wait for the confirmation breakout from this higher time frame ascending channel and wait for a continuation correction here to sell? Okay, so that is my plan on this. I'm still keeping I haven't picked a Kiwi pair yet, which is why I'm still waiting for the setup to happen. And I'm waiting to take a Kiwi pair. If you guys recall, I'm not in any Kiwi pair. I try to only be in one pair at risk, if not on. Sorry, I'm trying to only to be in one pair or one currency at a minimum. Unless the trade is at break even or whatever, then I can take another same currency. But I haven't taken a Kiwi pair yet. But I'm definitely looking to take a Kiwi pair if it forms a good kind of price action to sell. Okay, so most Kiwi pair are pretty weak, right? So Kiwi Swiss, same idea. It's pretty much like Euro Kiwi, right? Pretty much like Euro Kiwi, pretty much because we have this bigger structure. Same idea as Euro Kiwi, have impulse, we have a larger correction, and we break out now, and then we just pretty much continuation to a downside. And looking like we might just be forming a correction here to continue the sell. So wait for a correction. Broke this previous low. We broke the low pretty impulsively, which is what I like to see. If a continuation correction here will be definitely a very good sell to the low. Okay, so that's Kiwi Swiss. It will average out 0.1. I don't see pulling up that fast, to be honest. That's just me personally. Of course, that's your plan or planning your management, so nothing wrong with that, right? No, there's no right and wrong when it comes to trading. But you're talking about the pullback all the way here, not necessarily, my friend, right? After we've seen this strong of an impulse out, right? You just have to see what the structure is doing higher time frame wise. We have this higher time frame ascending channel, lower time frame ascending channel, double top here, which is the previous double top, previous M style pattern. This is likely to just continue. We might see a deeper correction, which is nice, but we're likely to see continuation, in my opinion. There's also a head and shoulder here as well. So that is it for currency, guys. Any other question for me for currency, for Forex, before I jump into other market? You're welcome to share with me in my Telegram channel. I have a group discussion chat. I have a main channel where I post things, all my links, all my analysis, all my educational. But I have a group chat. I have a group chat. You can join me. We share charts and things like that. You can search this. Okay. So that is pound Kiwi, sure. Pound Kiwi, Kiwi Swiss, I went over Euro Pound, Aussie Kiwi, Kiwi Yen, okay. Pound Kiwi, okay, so Pound Kiwi for sell in the first one, got a little bit of profit, but I didn't enter the second one because it just wasn't clean price action here. So, and now I don't even like when that price is breaking out now. It looks like we might be forming some sort of continuation here, some sort of correction here, and we might be continue. I don't really like that when I see that, right? It's kind of showing me that this impulse followed by correction isn't going to go down, at least in this moment. And if we're going to push up from here, then I kind of change my bias of this bearish kind of sell. And higher time frame wise, you see how this is kind of slowly moving up now. Of course, this can still drop if we just kind of consolidate here a little bit and then drop. But when I see this breaking above this previous high, and then if there's continuation correction here, this looks like it can be just a trend change, basically, because this correction is no longer valid to continue this move. Instead, we're just seeing a potential reversal from the price. So be careful here, in my opinion. Just watch out for what price will do on the lower time frame. I don't see much here, but if it starts developing something like this, then I think the sell is still valid. But if we're just going to start consolidating more as a bullish continuation now, then I do see the reversal upwards. Okay, and again, this is why it's not on my watch list, because you can argue pretty much both ways. And it's not clear on this area, so that's why I'm not looking for buy or sell here. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go to indices now. So why don't we jump into indices now? Some of you guys are asking me for indices. So let's talk about indices first. So did I not talk about all the indices are going to fall, right? I talked about these for weeks now, right? So we are finally seeing some bearish price action here. So we have ascending channel, impulse down followed by correction, or we're pretty much impulsing out now, right? So I've been talking about this pretty much since a few weeks ago, and really it's all about the overall price action. I get a lot of these comments kind of bashing on me, thinking people are saying that the indices are going to go up, the equities are going to go up because of what the reason they say is because of a stimulus check. I mean, all they hear is like, oh, there's $2 trillion coming in, $2 trillion coming into the market. So that's saying that every single person who received the stimulus check, every single dollar, they're going to go buy equities. Is that what they mean? Right? Because that's the statement I hear from everyone almost. It's when I post these analysis, I'm just getting some of these comments from people. I'm not bashing on them, but it's just their equities are going to go up, like you're wrong. But that's why you do your own analysis, right? You don't let other noises or external factor to affect your trading plan, your risk management, etc. Overall, this is how I see the market, right? Because we see this ascending channel within this larger ascending channel, and we're at this double top area before. This is when we have the COVID and we have the bearish drop, right? Same thing, same identical price action, right? Just different length, different size of ascending channel, but it's exactly the same, right? We're still expecting this move to the downside, and don't let other people to affect your decision on trading. This is why I always emphasize, don't let people to affect your decision, right? Make your own decision, make your own analysis, make your own trading plan, and follow it accordingly, okay? So what do I see now from Dow Jones? Well, ascending channel pushing on, we have a clear impulse, clear correction, and we're looking like we're breaking out now. We're break above this previous low, even this previous low of the ascending channel. This is all very good. What we see more continuation. Definitely continuation here would be a valid sell even to this low here. There's a lot of risk reward here. So watch out for the bearish move from the market. Okay, that's clearly a bearish kind of price action to me. Okay, I don't care about the news. I don't care about what other people say. We care about what the market is doing, right? We care about what the market is giving us in terms of its price action, and we follow it accordingly. Okay. All right, so that's Dow Jones. Let's move on to S&P. So S&P, same idea here. If we look at the overall picture here, to me, this is just still a larger, higher time frame kind of expanding structure. We have this double top here, and ascending channel, and then we have a push down, right? So definitely see this continuation to the lows of the correction here and see if we can break out and continue. Okay, again, we see the same thing, right? It's just that this is more of a ascending channel, but this is more of an expanding structure channel. But ultimately, it's telling you the same thing, right? It's telling you the same thing that we're going to get a potential reversal, right? So it's just all about doing test, identifying similar structure that has happened in the past and see how they play out. And you're looking at the same thing and you have a plan to capitalize on it, okay? So looks like we're dropping a little. Looks like we're dropping a little. Recall, I took an S&P sell here. Resulted with just a little bit of profit, if I recall. But now we're just seeing that there's a potential structure here that we're just pushing down lower now. So another correction here would be ideal to sell and then to continue the price lower and lower. My pen is great. Is it an add-on? Can't find it in my menu. Okay, look at my screen, top left here. Click this hamburger. Oh, not hamburger, sorry. Here. This is, the brush is a pen. It's not a pen, it's a brush. So if you have a brush, I highlight it. And you can change this pen or any color you want, right? So let's talk about Nasdaq here. A lot of you guys are asking me Nasdaq. So for Nasdaq, same idea here, right? Same bearish bias across the indices to me. Same ascending channel, right? This is ascending channel. This is the ascending channel. This is the COVID drop, and we don't have the COVID drop, but this is still a bearish move, right? The COVID drop is bearish because of impulse, correct, impulse. We're seeing pretty much same thing. Impulse, correct. Can we get the next impulse to the low? Certainly possible, right? So looking deeper here, looking into the price action here. Originally, I had a sell position here. Yeah, I had a sell position here. Took out for me for break even. Looks like we had a shoulder. We're breaking out of this structure now, which is good because if we zoom out here, we're pretty much breaking out of the structure now, which is great. Looks like we had a little correction here to break out. So if it continue with a bigger correction, I certainly expect price to continue lower, and you can expect that if this is going to be a continuation correction for this move can continue down to the previous low. Okay, so that's what I see on Nasdaq. But right now, if I just look closely here, yeah, this is a clear kind of correction here, right? Impulse, correction, impulse. This is just market open, right? Don't get all this spread or market open to affect you. The overall price condition, right? The way how we see the price is still bearish, right? Impulse, correction. impulse. Larger correction, impulse down. Okay, so don't let the 5 minute, 1 minute, really small lower time frame to affect you, because I find a lot of traders are too zoom in, like they're looking at the 1 minute chart and they're thinking, is there a strategy to capture 1 minute? I'm sure there are scalping strategies to capture 1 minute chart or whatever, but is it feasible? Is it sustainable consistently or on a larger account? That's up to you and your discussion, right? I just personally see too many people blow their account because they're trading way bigger positions, way bigger lot, and on too small of a time frame, right? Management, especially you don't have a trading plan, you're just blindly entering in. That's a disaster for traders to blow their account, right? So I advise people don't do that. Okay, so start with something a little bit higher so that you can get a feel of how the market moves, and then adjust your plan, adjust your trading plan accordingly. I think that's the best. Okay. I need to change my brush setting. You can change the color. You can change the color, right? I can right click this. I set it yellow because it's the brighter one, but I usually have two different on. So you can change whatever you like. Okay, so there's a few other indices people talk about. Let me just kind of look at what you guys are saying. What other indices you guys want me to talk about? Nikkei 225. Yeah, Nikkei 225. Russell 2000, sure. Hey, Sean, nice to see you, Sean. I mean, COVID drop is a story on its own, sure, right? But the price action give us that clarity before it happens, right? If you haven't watched my backtest video on Earth, you should watch my backtest video on indices, because that pretty much, I'll quickly show you just so that you know. On my backtesting video, I talk about the indices, okay? You watch this video, it will talk to you about, I explain all during the COVID time, how does this move happen? What are some clues from the price before it happens? Okay, so you can watch that to learn a little bit more, because pretty much all of the indices before the COVID drop, it already shows us bearish price action. Wow, I can't talk. Like I was saying, sorry, all the indices show us some sort of bearish price action before it drops, okay? Nikkei 225. Can I analyze Bitcoin? I will talk about Bitcoin after, okay? So let me finish the indices, I'll talk about commodities, and I'll jump to crypto, okay? I'm gonna say most crypto look bearish to me, okay? Most crypto look bearish to me. I've been pretty much talking about crypto being bearish since last week. If you guys who saw me in the last couple of streams, I've been pretty much talking the bearish move from crypto all this time, right? So anyways, Nikkei 225, well, originally I was seeing if the price can hit this double top before it dropped, but it kind of already is dropping. So how I see this is there's a few ways. You can see this on a higher time frame, that you can potentially see this as a potential correction. That's one way of seeing this. This is an impulse, this is a correction, and a continuation. Or you can see this as that double top formation, and then that this move down, if we can form a correction and break lower, then I don't see the higher time frame bias anymore. I can expect more bearish push down. This is again an example of why when I see a higher time frame and lower time frame has a little bit of a conflicting bias, then I don't like to trade them, or I don't like to hold through them, or I'm not looking for entry. You see, it's not on my watch list because I not yet to see a confirmation for either direction, and I'm happy to wait for a little bit longer. Russell 2000. So Russell 2000, let's see this from a higher time frame approach. A higher time frame approach, I was looking at this as that ascending channel, similar idea, right? Similar idea, bigger ones than the previous COVID drop. We're seeing this ascending channel. If you look closely, this is that double top now. I had the structure drill like this, I remember a month ago or something, or beginning of the month. I talk about that if this impulse move couldn't break the top or break the top but doesn't follow with a continuation, then expect a reversal. Pretty much that is what we're seeing here, right? Double top here, price break that top, but couldn't form continuation to continue. Instead, we just reverse back down. So what can we expect from the price here? Well, this is more ascending channel reversal. We're breaking out now, so if it break below followed by more correction, I certainly see this move to continue lower and lower. All right, so it kind of fits our plan of this higher time frame reversal. We're seeing a strong push to the downside now. So more correction down to the previous low is certainly expected. Okay. Yeah, I have blown up a few accounts. You don't until you do it. Yeah, but I mean, you're honest to say that. I appreciate that because that is most people included in the beginning of my trading journey, like years ago, right? This is my year 8 of trading. In my year 1 or 2, yeah, I'm still not consistent, but at least I admit that I wasn't consistent and I work on my plan, I work on my journal, I work on my strategy, I work on my management, etc. And that's how you're gonna get better, right? But the first thing first is to actually admit that we did something wrong, right? I find a lot of traders, because this industry, this business, trading itself, it's so about emotion, right? And people have ego, right? Everybody has ego, whether you admit it or not. What's ego? Well, you don't want to be told you're wrong. You don't want to admit that you were wrong. You don't want to admit that you made a mistake. Those are ego, right? So if you can really work on that, if you can really just put aside all your ego and admit that, okay, I did something wrong. I was emotion. I was revenge trading. I was over trading. I admit I was wrong. I'm not blaming the market. I'm not blaming the broker. I'm not blaming my strategy. Then you're going to see improvement from yourself. It's those people who don't admit those aspects is not likely to succeed. Okay. Sean, what platform do you use to trade indices? I use Oanda. Oanda can offer indices. I can see if I can find it. Oanda offer indices, right? So I can trade S&P and S&P 5. Oh, I see what. Yeah. So US 30s, right? You can trade all indices on Oanda. I'm not promoting Oanda, so I'm not introducing any brokers. I'm just using Oanda, and as one of my broker, I also use AxiTrader. Here, but I use Oanda primarily. So, okay. What other questions? Jojo, wish you give me your daily schedule. I'm getting there. I just need some time. I do the streams 3 times a week, my friend. I do the stream 3 times a week. I do them now. I'm doing them on Sunday night and Tuesday and Thursday during New York session, which is the one you're watching now. So you can follow me on Telegram. I post all my link in my Telegram, okay, for my streams. And if you follow me on YouTube or you follow me on TradingView, you're gonna get the notification anyways. If you go TradingView stream, you're gonna see all the streams. You're gonna see my streams. And you're also gonna see, if you go on my YouTube, it will remind you right in the homepage. It will remind you on my next stream art and things like that. Okay. So any other question on indices before we jump into commodity, guys? Before we jump into commodities, anything else, guys, from indices? I think I went over all the ones that you guys were asking. Oil just had a crazy drop. Yeah, let's talk about oil after. I always have to repeat myself, keep it as simple as possible, right, Wood? Yeah, that's exactly what you need to do. What I say always is don't let the exterior noise affect you, okay? Don't let the noise affect you, because let's say we talk about oil, right? Let's say we talk about oil. Just like example, like say for example, I'm like, okay, I'm seeing oil as bearish. you're gonna know it's gonna go up. Oils continue going up. You're wrong. Your analysis is wrong. You're always gonna hear different opinion, right? So, but when do you listen to them and when do you not listen to them, right? It's like people who following signals. I'm not here to bash on them, so don't quote me on it. But people who do signals or people who follow signals, if you're not really knowing when to trade or why to exit the trade, but that's not really helping you, right? Because what if they no longer provide you the signal? What if they raise their price on the signal? Then are you still going to pay them? Are you still going to follow them? Right? So it's best to have your own trading plan, your own risk management, right? What I'm doing here is to give everyone an outlook of what I see on the market, what my outlook of the analysis, but it's ultimately up to you to find risk management, your entries, your trading plan, right, etc. Because everyone trades differently. What may be comfortable for me to enter may not be you, or what may be comfortable for you to enter may not be me, right? So that's really the difference because every trader is different, every strategy is different, and every strategy works really, in my opinion. Every strategy works, but if it depends on that trader can follow that strategy, follow their plan, follow their risk management accordingly, that's how a trader is going to be consistent or not. It's not about the trading strategy, it's not about the style, in my opinion. People want to trade Elliott wave, that's fine. People want to trade whatever other ways, right? Every other way. As long as there is a plan, I definitely think most strategy will work. Okay. Can I just get the hours? Yeah, you're gonna look at my trading view. You're gonna look at, okay, so Tuesday, Thursday, 14 o'clock GMT. For my weekly outlook, I usually do when market opens, so that will be 22 o'clock GMT Sunday night. Okay, 22 o'clock GMT Sunday night, and then Tuesday, Thursday, 14 o'clock GMT. All right. Do you execute your trade on or on? I don't link the broker thing with TradingView. That's just me personally. Nothing wrong with that, but I personally don't link the thing with TradingView. So, okay. Let's continue here. I'm just a lot of questions, guys. So I'm just going through them both on my YouTube and TradingView, right? Because you guys, I'm live on both, so I'm just on both. Um, you must have capital, yeah. How much is your capital? I want to say in the low six figures. That's where I'm trading in different brokers. I don't put all the money in one broker. It's probably the best not to. Like for this one I'm showing here this is about the best to spread out your capital in few brokers. Especially I also have crypto, right? So I have capital in crypto. So think of it like that. So that's all. I haven't talked about oil yet. So oil, what do I see from here? Well, we have that expanding structure, right? So we have impulse correction, impulse down now. This is the area that I said we should worry about or watch out for. So here, well, this is a little bit not. Sorry to put it this way. I was looking to see if this is going to continue, and I mentioned this in my last stream that I missed an entry here. I was looking for an entry here. I pretty much have it even planned out if I can see. No, not this. Well, anyways, I had a plan to enter this actually. Just didn't enter it to be honest. And to be honest, when I look back at this, when this pushed down, I would have set it to break even, and then when this pushed up, I would have get tagged out for break even, and then still continue. So overall, I just look back at it and fine, did not take it. It's fine. But what I expect now, well, we're seeing a more of an expanding structure. Remember, I talked about expanding structure can be both continuation or reversal. So it's important to wait for this breakout, at least break below this previous low and continuation. That's going to get to the low here. But if that doesn't happen, if it drops to this low in reverse, well, that's going to happen, right? We know these expanding structure are a little bit more advanced, a little bit more tricky. So best to wait for a little bit more confirmation to short, which is what I would like to see, right? I have a bias for the short. But I also understand that price can reverse from this point and upwards, so be careful on that. Okay. if not, why I don't really day trade stocks. I would buy stocks as a investment. There's a difference between investment and trading, of course, right? Trading, you can get in on a trade for a few days or a few weeks. But for investing, like for example, like Nike or something, like it's not something I plan to is to invest, right? Like if I'm in trees, I'm looking for a whole like long-term hold, right? I'm not like day trading them, etc. Because I'm not really into trading stocks. There's a few reasons why I'm not here to bash on trading stocks. It's just stock is limited by a lot of things, right? You technically you can only trade the stock during that market opens, right? So like if you're trading any of the new stocks, you can only trade them during the New York sessions, right? So pretty much 7-8 hours window. And after that, you're going to always get these gapping, right? No matter what you do, you're always going to get gapping, right? Whatever you see, you're always going to get gaps in the market, right? No matter how you do it, because that's how it is in stocks, right? You're not likely to get that in currency. You're not likely to get that in any other market, right? Because Forex is open 24/5, crypto is open 24/7, right? And I just don't like to subject to all these gapping, right? You can see these are all gaps, right? That means the market moves during when it's not open, and sometimes it creates. Sometimes it's good for you, sometimes it's bad for you. But I don't really like to hold a day trading position, which is going to be a bigger position than an investment position, right? So that's why I don't really trade stocks, but I would invest in them, right? Like I said, I would buy stocks if it's within the same kind of price action, then hold the stock for a long term, right? Yeah, no worries. Let's go to silver. So silver, I am in silver, right? I'm in silver. Talk about silver as well. I'll talk about gold after. I know all of you guys are waiting for me to go gold, so I apologize. I'm just going through the list. I apologize. So silver, about silver. From this, there's a short-term kind of sell, which is what I'm in this one. Silver, we have this double top here, right? Potentially forming a larger structure, but as the price hits this double top, we have a strong impulse correction. We impulse out of this structure here. So, and then there was a continuation correction here. And that's why I look for entry pretty clean to just have a next bearish move down from here. And I want to see what happens in this area to potentially look for the big reversal, a big continuation upwards. But certainly there is enough risk reward, in my opinion, to justify this sell. This is about 9.7 to 1. So lots of risk reward. All I have to see is if price breaks this low and then we're going to continue, then it's good. If we don't, if we bounce up here, then I'll just take profit, right? So all my plans is already there before I enter the trade, right? Remember, it's all about planning your trade before it happens. I find a lot of people jump in the trade and they have no idea how to set their stop loss, set their target, or any risk management approach if the price doesn't play out the way they want it to. Right? So have a plan, have a management so that when things happen, you don't panic, you don't start getting emotion, you don't make emotional decisions, and then that doesn't work out for you in the long run. Okay. So for me, I'm in the silver trade. Like I said, I'm not faced with all this, right? This happened in gold too, right? I think, right? Exactly, right? So for those guys who jump onto the gold, well, that's kind of what happens, right? You see the gold pop up, you start buying, buying, buying. Well, that's what happened, right? So don't get emotional, guys. If it's going to take off, well, there's going to be more opportunity if this is actually going to be a trend change. If it does not, well, that's going to happen, right? The market is going to take you off for all your buys, right? So, like I said, I'm holding it. My stop loss is only at break even, if I recall correctly. Yeah, my stop loss is only at break even. So, but I will move to it. I'll adjust to it once I see a little bit more development. I'm likely to move it to about 1 to 1 or so. If this move continued downwards a little bit more, then I will set it. I'm sorry, set my stop loss to 1 to 1 profit. That's kind of what I meant. Sorry. Okay, so that's silver. Let's talk about gold. So let's talk about from the higher time frame first, because I still want to point out that the higher time frame, to me, originally I was looking for a buy, right? And I want to admit that the buy isn't going, right? The buy isn't going as what I expected to. Originally, I was looking at this buy to be pretty good, and I even got in on one of these buys, just took out for a break even. But originally, at this time, when I see this descending channel, when I see this higher time frame structure, I was looking for the buy. I think most of us are looking for the buy. But as price continue, we can't help to understand that the price is telling us a little bit differently. The descending channel here, usually expect a strong bullish impulse followed by correction. We're going to get on the next bullish trend. Instead, we just move up correctively, right? You can see that this is a correction here, right? So the original correction is no longer valid because the correction evolved into a continuation correction. This is kind of what I'm seeing. Okay, so watch for this area to complete, which is kind of what I'm seeing. Price breaks out now. And I was looking to see if there's going to be a continuation correction. So impulse, correction, impulse. We did kind of impulse out, kind of hitting the low before this kind of strength or volatility comes in. But to me, naturally, when I see a strong move up like this and then a sharp move down like this, naturally, I think this is going to tricks a lot of impatient buyers. Like a lot of buyers are buying here, here, and then this is exactly what happens, right? So don't make these emotional mistakes. Just because you see a strong surge to the upside, but you forget to look at what the overall market is doing, right? This is the overall market. This is still a down move. This is still a correction. We still can expect down move. This 1 hour candle or 15-minute, half an hour bullish move, not likely to continue or not likely to be a trend change to the upside, which is what people are hoping it to happen. But that's not it, right, guys? You just have to understand. You have to look at the higher time frame. You have to look at the overall price condition. You're not just too zoom in into like the 5-minute or the 1-minute candle. And when you start seeing this to push up, you're like, holy shit, I'm not going to catch this. I'm just going to buy, hoping this will take off. But it's not taking off, right, guys? So that's just a little bit of lesson here, guys. I emphasize this a lot because I just see people lose money all the time when that happens. And then the typical thing that people say is the market is manipulated, the brokers stop loss hunting me, things like that. Again, those are all ego, right? Remember I just talked about 10, 15 minutes ago about ego. Don't have those ego, right? You enter the trade, you put the decision to enter the trade. Why are you blaming others because of the market reversed, right? Those are the things you cannot control, right? You want to control your broker, you want to control the market, impossible. But what you can control is your entry, your risk management, your criteria, and your trading psychology. Okay, so gold-wise, like I said, I'm expecting this at least a short-term bearish move when we see this continuation correction, and we'll want to see this low. If the price breaks this low and continue more, then pretty much this whole bullish flag or bullish continuation to me is no longer valid anymore. We might just start seeing a further bearish breakdown for the price. And that's why I'm kind of watching out for this area to see what will happen and then act accordingly. Okay. So any question on these ones, guys? Before I jump into crypto? Thanks, you enlightened me about the reality meaning of trend following. Yeah, all I'm saying is, guys, all I'm saying is some small noises or exterior noises to affect you, right? Just have a plan yourself, follow it, right? You can learn, you can adapt, you can change your plan, but don't let exterior noise affect your decision, which is what a lot of people do, right? Pound yen, I already went over, but we can quickly jump to that. So pound yen, talk about this already, but looking for downside, right? Looking for downside. This is clear that we have that M style pattern, double top, impulse down, and pretty much just looking for continuation, right? This is pretty much what price is doing. And I mentioned there's a continuation correction here as well. So impulse correction, looking for the next impulse down, which is what I would do. Okay. So I'm in this one, I'm holding this one. I want to see what price will do in this low area. If it start impulsing down very fiercely, I might even look to extend my target. But we'll see first if we can break this previous low, and then we'll continue downside more. Okay. You already hold by now, my friend. Have your plan. Right? I've been talking about this the whole time. Don't simply follow me because I'm in the buy position. What's your opinion on the buy position, right? So I'm in the buy position. I'm going to hold, right? I'm just my stop losses at break even. I'm happy to let the trade run. I'm not even looking at this every second, right? Because I know what I'm doing, right? I know that we have an impulse, correction, impulse, right? Continuation correction forming here. I expect this move to continue. So whatever happens on the 5 minute or 1 minute or whatever the case may be, that's really not going to affect me, right? That's really not affecting me. I'm just looking to get in on the trade and then hold the trade as long as the price is bias. And if not, then I'll adjust accordingly, right? So, all right. So that is Euro Aussie. Let's go to crypto. So crypto, let's go through few cryptos because see a lot like Bitcoin, but to be honest, I already said I'm not interested in the Bitcoin, right? I talk about this move pretty much already happening. It's already halfway through because I understand how price works. It's when we have a strong impulsive move to the upside, naturally the price needs to correct. And when you see this double top here, ascending channel moving up, M style pattern accordingly, and we have a breakdown from the price, pretty much gives you that the price isn't going to continue upwards this point. It's going to form a deeper correction that we're used to. So it moved down to the lows here before the up move is very promising. I will certainly be buying Bitcoin here if it dropped to its low. Okay, remember I got in on Bitcoin on one of these positions as well. I exit here because when I see the sharp move down followed by continuation, right? So it's all about adjusting to what the price is telling you, right? So same thing here is I'm not interested in the short sell, just like all these other crypto that are falling. I'm not interested in the short sell, but I will be interested when price drop to the low, when we form some sort of bigger structure for the next huge buy, right? Buying here, whatever the price gives you, is always going to be a better buy than buying on the top here when there's really no bullish price action. Okay, so that's kind of how I see on Bitcoin, and pretty much the same as every other every other um every other crypto. That's what I want to say. So US yen. What do you mean you caught the US? What's your I don't know how low you got it. Do you mean you got it on this low? Because oh yeah, you probably did, right? I talked about this from the beginning. When we have this strong impulse to the upside, this is the area where you need to watch out because I always talk about we still have the higher time frame structure here. So this could be forming a correction and continue breakout. That's good, but I'm not really looking to buy here. I will look to breakout and buy here. Okay, and because sometimes what price will do is just move up correctively like this and then still drop down afterwards. Okay, so most recent low like here, well, yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. I wouldn't buy here because this can just move up here and then reverse, right? Like the same scenario I talk about, this can move up correctively and then drop like this, right? You followed me a few times, right, Sean? I mentioned about we should break above the higher time frame structure to buy. This is the buy that we always going to be buying, right? So So we talk about Bitcoin. We talk about, let's go through the crypto really, really quick because I'm not really interested in any of them, but I am telling you guys. Remember, since last week, every single stream I've been talking about is I talk about the crypto getting bearish, right? So pretty much identically, this all happens, right? So I'm not into shorting crypto, so I'm not in any of these shorts, but I'm just pointing out that for those of you guys who are in the positions, position, move your stop loss accordingly because I do see the bearish move on the price. So dash, right? Impulse, correction, impulse out, and then small correction, right? This is dropping down to the low now. So this is the area to watch out for. Is it going to continue or is it going to start reversing from this point? Okay. Same idea. Now this when the price is all the way from the top here. This is an impulsive move. This is a correction. And we're just breaking out of that correction. Looks like we're going for more consolidation and drop lower. EOS, same thing. Big impulse down, followed by continuation correction. We break out of this continuation correction. So naturally, if there is more correction here, expect this move to go down further. Ethereum already talked about this head and shoulder pattern to be the reversal. It looks like we're dropping more. Link, impulse down, correction here, impulse down. There's a mini correction here as well. So look to see what price will do at this previous low. LTC, same idea, impulse down, correction. We impulse off followed by a continuation correction. We impulse down to the low, right? So most of these are pretty much what I've been saying, right? What I've been saying since pretty much every stream. So, if you're in these ones, just be careful, right? Because they're not moving up. They're all pushing down. Even for Neo, when I was looking for an outside move, this tend to be looking for more as a correction for this movement. It looks like if we form continuation here, this will go down to the lows here, okay? So that is what I see on pretty much most of the crypto guys. I'm not seeing any buy opportunities whatsoever. Um, they're just all looking pretty bearish to me. Even BNB, and some of you guys are looking at BNB. And remember, at BNB, I said this is a potential structure that I was looking at. Right, I drew out this pretty much in the last at least two streams, and it looks like we are getting that bearish move to the downside here. Um, any opinion on Cardano? Sure. To be honest, I'm still seeing it bearish. I'm not really seeing the bullish price action yet. Originally, if you guys recall, I did got in on this buy and just not seeing that bullish bias, right? Remember when I start seeing when we got in on this position and then price popped to the offside, hitting the all-time high and start forming the ascending channel, it's just not looking like it's going to continue. And that's why I moved my stop loss to break even, and that's what happened. It looks like it's continuation to the downside. So what I expect, this is kind of what I mentioned last stream or the previous stream as well, is if this can correctively move down to form some sort of structure like this, then I would still be inclined to look for a buy. But judging by what's going on most of the crypto, judging by this move alone, that we pretty much form a double top here like this, right? And then we're pushing down the price correctively down to the low. Really not interested in the buy anymore. I just need a little bit more confirmation from the price on what this area is going to do. Because you can see this as a double top and this breaks down below the low and continue lower, then really not interesting to the buy anymore, right? So we have to just wait and see what price will do when we hit this low here. If we're going to get bullish reversal price action, this move down is quite corrective, which is a first sign of potential reversal, but anything can happen, right? So don't just start jumping the buy because it hit this level. We need more confirmation, potentially looking for a buy. But if that does not happen, then not interested in the sell, not interested in the buy, just let the price drop, and then we'll see from there. All right. So that's Cardano. Any other questions on crypto? Any other questions on? So that is all the markets. I went through crypto, indices, commodity, and Forex. I'm happy to answer some questions or any pairs that you haven't seen me talk about. I don't mind to do more. So if you have anything, let me know, and we can go through them quickly. Do you have video explaining your strategy in detail? I do. If you check my YouTube, did you have a chance to look at patterns and patterns? This pretty much explain every single strategies or move that I look for. I talk about in this risk management. I talk about entering stop loss, take profit for an impulsive move. How to take profit. Introduction to trading. There's a lot more information here. Summarize it. If you want a little bit more detail, you can get it in my ebook. I have an ebook that outlines everything that I talk about here. So it's about 150 pages or so, if I recall. So if you're interested, you can ask me for this. Cobra, back to indices. I keep hearing people talk about a huge sell-off from something major. You said in March you saw indication of just before the COVID drop, but you aren't seeing that yet from coming up. No, I do see that. I do see that. Maybe sorry if I didn't phrase it correctly. I do see the indices falling. I do see all of them falling. Right. That was my point. Was I point out that when the COVID time happened, there is clear price action to sell. It's the same here, right? That's kind of all I'm saying is I'm referring to what happened to March last year. It's the same this year. It's the same this year, in my opinion, right? It's the same kind of price action here. So I do expect the sell-off from the market. I do expect the big sell-off from the market. That's kind of what I'm saying. It's the same structure, same price action, same bearish price action. And like I said, I'll make sure you watch that when you have a chance. I prove, well, I guess I want to say, I showcase all the US indices or pretty much all the other ones that there is price action there. There is entries here that we can potentially catch to catch the sell-off, right? So it's the same idea here. Okay, we're just at the tip now, right? You can see we're just at the tip here. Right, we're just at the tip now. So anything can happen. We can see another bearish sell-off. It may or may not be as fierce as coronavirus, but we can certainly expect a typical price action move down like this, right? We might not see a huge completion of meltdown, right? Whatever people call, but we can expect typical price action, right? Impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction. So it's still going to move down, but it may or may not move as strong as something like this, right? Yes, I was giving an ebook in Christmas time. Sorry, Earth, but yeah, it's not anymore, unfortunately. But I was giving away during that time. Yes. V chain. So first time seeing this, I don't really look at too many other crypto other than like the ones that I usually look at, the major ones. But I still see this is pretty strong bullish move, right? So you probably see that as well. We see a bullish move up. It's pretty much to see if this is going to be a continuation correction developing here, and then for the next upside, or this might just turns into a more bearish price action if it drops lower followed by correction. So to me, it's not too clear at this moment. Okay, it's not too clear because this can consolidate and continue. That's probably ideal. That's probably what you want to see or we want to see. But we can't help that because there's no. This is all the information I have. I don't have too much information. So if it doesn't break down, if it doesn't follow by continuation correction in a bearish way, then expect the first scenario that we're just going to get bigger correction like this and then continuation to the upside. So okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. Aussie Yen creating corrective structure close to the 90% rule. I'm not sure what you mean by 90% rule, but I did mention that when we're getting close to the end of the correction, you should be a little bit careful because sometimes the price will form a double bottom before it reverse. This is why I also mentioned that this is not a sell that I would take. I would prefer to take it when we break the low and then followed by a correction, right? Because we've seen this a lot when we price hits the beginning of a potential correction and then forms a double bottom and then reverse back up. We've seen that quite often, right? So that's all I mean is to watch out for this level. If we can break before the level and continue. Okay. Do I use AxiTrader to trade pairs or one that doesn't support? No, not necessarily. It's just preference, really. I don't have. I don't. Trader actually offers a little bit more things. Again, I'm not promoting trade brokers, so please don't join them because I'm just showing you what they offer. Know what I mean? There's a slightly difference between trading futures and trading CFD. They're kind of the same, but they're also not the same. Okay, so and I remember I can trade. Let me just go through. Oh, it doesn't show, but there's a difference in what they are. I like AxiTrader because I've been using them for years as well. It's just different, different broker. I talk about this is what Major Pip asked about like the capital. I would never put all my capital in one broker because I think it's just you can diversify it, right? You know, like so let's say if you have let's say you have $100, let's just say you have $100 in total trading, you can put 50 in one broker and 50 in one broker, right? I think that's pretty valid to do. And or you can put like 30, 33, 33, 33, whatever you like, right? But you don't have to put all of them in one broker. I think that's all I'm trying to say. So honestly, Reaver, I'm seeing most crypto being bearish, and I'm not really buying them because I do see them continue lower and lower, at least to a lower level. A lot of these are maybe at an area where they can reverse, but a lot of them are not yet at an area, right? I think this can go down more. EOS, same thing, can go down more. Link as well. So I don't plan to buy them unless I see bullish price action to develop. If I don't see bullish price action, I'm not interested to buy them. So that's me personally. Yeah. Yes, Neo certainly has more price action, definitely. I definitely still see, obviously, long-term bullish, right? We talk about long-term that we just have this impulse correction impulse, right? This looks like we're just going to continue lower, at least to this low area, and see if we're going to form some sort of bigger structure to continue, or we might just get lower as well. So that's kind of my current view on Neo. Do I use MT? I use none. I don't use any of. I mean, I would use MT4 because MT4 is the only one usable in Oanda and AxiTrader, if I can recall. But I don't really even use MT4 to be honest for Oanda. I just go on Oanda's platform to trade, right? Like I can just go on their platform to trade on the spot or on the phone. I usually trade on the phone actually. I pretty much never online, like on the platform to trade. I always use my phone to enter the trades. It's just easier that way. I would suggest if you're not, consistent. I mean, like what I'm trying to say is entering the trades on the phone is easy, but is also hard for newcomers because they can just easily enter a lot of trades, easily just change. Not likely to be good for them. Okay, so how, how do you determine how big the corrective structure will be? Do you look at the impulsive move? I think that the biggest question or the easiest way to understand is we're not 100% sure how big or how wide or how long a correction will be. Okay, this is the same prime example here. I thought I would explain a little bit more. Is after you see an impulsive move like this, naturally we think there's going to be a correction, right? But we don't know if this correction will be big or long or deep or wide or whatever, right? We don't really know. We don't know 100%. This is part of the trading where you have to be a little bit more consistent with it. Is that we don't know how big, how long this correction will be, but we have a very good idea how a structure will end, right? We talk about at least two swing highs and two swing lows. So we know that after an impulsive phrase, we usually follow by a corrective phrase before the next impulsive phrase. So as long as we start seeing a potential completion of a correction, and if it's within your plan to buy, then sure thing. And this is why we always move our stop loss to break even, because same thing as what happened in Euro Kiwi, for example. Um, I'll bring out all my buy position from this month literally. So all of these buy position you see here are all break even for me, and all of them pretty much end up in a loss if I don't do that, right? Because at the time you can't see what happened anymore. It's at the time when I enter, it looks like we are finishing this impulse move and we're going correction after breakout. But in this case, it didn't, so it dropped down. So I tag out for break even and just forms a deeper correction. After a deeper correction, we have another impulse. We have another impulse up, followed by a correction here. So I enter here again, pushed up to one, set it to break even again, and push down. So all this is telling you that the price isn't finished completing. Just might see a bigger correction, right? But ultimately, when the bigger correction finishes, we're going to see the next impulse. So you can't be 100% sure every single entry that you're going to take is going to be the next one that takes off. There's no way of knowing that. Okay, but as the price continue to develop more and more and more, you're going to get a little bit bigger picture, a little bit better picture that this overall move is an impulse. We're getting at least few swing highs and few swing lows. We have a reversal down and a reversal impulse up, followed by a correction here to finish this larger correction for the next takeoff. So we don't know 100% when or how the correction will finish. all we can do is to adjust our entries, right? All we can do is put our stop loss to break even if it's hitting 1-to-1 or it breaks previous high, and then we just watch, right? We observe and we see what will happen. We can't do anything more than that, unfortunately, right? So sometimes you're going to miss trade, sometimes you're going to enter a trade that take a loss, but that is trading, my friend. There's no other way you can tell or no other way you can adjust, okay? So that's really my honest opinion. Who tells you to catch all that? It's not likely, right? I know social media shows you all the profit after profit. They brag about the entries that they take, but you don't know how many previous entry that they took that were in the loss. Maybe they're just showing you this one trade that they enter and they work out for them, but they forgot to show you all these countless other trade that they took losses on. They're just showing you one single trade that works out in their favor, and then people buy into that, right? So that's something I advise to be a little bit more careful when you're looking for lessons online or courses or signals and things like that. Ask them for a track record, right? Ask them for a track record. So, okay. Is your indices available on MT4 platform? It has to be. Yes, it is. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Earth. It's hard to tell just based on what you mean, but you said there's a corrective up channel, but it looks like an impulse to me. I'm not sure what you mean by that. It's hard to tell which part or which time frame or whatever you're talking about. So. All right, guys. Any other question for me? I've been talking about an hour and 40 minutes, so I'm gonna wrap it up very soon. I'll touch on any last minute questions before I leave. How to get my ebook? You can message me on Telegram. You can message me on Telegram. Message me privately if you want to find out more. I'll type it here. For Bitcoin, I personally think it should go lower. I'm personally seeing what we'll do when it hit this low. This area in general, it's not specific very price or anything. It's just this area in general. Then we can potentially forming a bigger correction for the next upside. Appreciate everyone. Great work as always. Thank you. So I think that's it. I'm not hearing other questions. So like I said, join my Telegram, join my YouTube or TradingView if you like these kind of setups. I do the streams 3 times a week. You'll feel free to watch them free. I will do what I always do on the weekend is I'll do a trade recap videos on all the trades I took for the week. And Sunday night, I will do a weekly trading outlook for the week ahead. Okay, so good. You just discovered me on TradingView. Great, happy to see that. So feel free to interact with me in my channel, in my Telegram channel, or in my group discussion. You can talk in here as well, as long as that you're comfortable too. All right, so thank you very much, guys. I will chat with you guys next time. So hope everyone be safe out there for the remaining of the week. And wherever you guys are, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you guys are, be safe out there, and I will chat with you guys next time. All right, thank you very much.